Don't hate me.
Listen up, zombies. Would you consider yourself to be a good apple?
So you're Oprah.
Yeah.
To me, you're white. Am I wrong?
I mean, if you see white.
Work on your kids. They're gonna need it.
That's not love that's in the air.
You can't out-sin God's grace. Hello, and welcome to Wretched. My name is Todd Friel. I am your host. The wretch the song refers to. Believe it or not everybody was thrilled with yesterday's program. Friel, we've never been thrilled. The point is, we brought up a subject that is very delicate, and we did not bring it up to be salacious or go bing. So please permit me to share with you why I was willing to go out on a bit of a limb to discuss an issue that we evangelical Christians must be discussing when it comes to the issue of adoption, and that is the issue of reactive attachment disorder. What is this malady that I believe accompanies every adoption? It is an issue that a child, small, can be older, experiences a great trauma. They get separated from mom. It's a house of chaos. They never have their needs attended to, and they develop bad thinking about relationships. They frequently don't develop a conscience like they should. They see authority as the enemy. They don't know how to interact rightly with people. And so they go about the business of upsetting your apple cart because they feel like they need to be in control because they've always had to be in control. This issue causes a great deal of pain for many parents, and I do not bring this issue up lightly to scare you or to dissuade you from adopting. I bring this up for the sake of full disclosure, so that every parent can know what they are most likely going to face. Second, I bring up this issue so that the churches can be willing to say to the adoptive parents that they've been encouraging to adopt, we're with you. We got your back, and we will stand with you until your child is out of the home. If a church is not willing to make that commitment to every family that they encourage to adopt, they shouldn't be encouraging anybody to adopt. I'm sorry. But if you're going to encourage somebody, rightly so, it's a picture of the gospel. Let's keep proclaiming adoption. But if we as churches are not willing to say, and we're with you, and we will sacrifice weekends, we will sacrifice money, and we will go through your challenges with you because you are going to need the church, then we should not be promoting adoption if we're not willing to do that. Furthermore, get ready for this statement, and you've probably never heard anybody in Christian circles utter this sentence, and I'm not doing this to be sensationalistic. I am not doing this to frighten anybody. But if you are not aware of what this issue is, and you have not studied it well, you're not ready to adopt yet. Furthermore, and this is going to be even bolder, not every person is equipped to parent an adopted child. Did you catch that? Not every parent has the makeup to deal with the challenges surrounding children with reactive attachment disorder. And you need to think, I am going to have a child with these issues. Can I deal with it? Because you see, reactive attachment disorder requires parenting flipped upside down. Normally, if you have a child who is disobedient, you would deal with it, address it, confront it, even discipline. Now, that's reverse for a child with reactive attachment disorder. If you scold, or if you raise your voice, or if you discipline your child, guess what? They like that. And so they will provoke you to get a response from you because they want chaos out of you because that brings them peace. For instance, and you're going to think that this is trite, but you have a child with reactive attachment disorder, and you tell the child, put your shoes on. And you teach the child lovingly as a parent how to put their shoes on. The right one goes like this, and the left one goes like that, and that's how we put on our shoes. Go ahead, you try it. And they put the left one on the right one and the right one on the left one. Okay, I get that. We all have to learn. So you teach them again. And they do the same thing again. And you teach them again. And they put them on the wrong feet again. And this goes on for, let's say, months. Every single time shoes are on the wrong feet, and you hearken back to math class and you think, statistically, they should get it right on occasion. 50-50 shot at getting the right shoe on the right foot and the left one on the left piggy. Why are they constantly getting this wrong? Because they have reactive attachment disorder and they want to get up your nose. That's why. So they do it intentionally. So that you explode like that because they go, I win, you lose. And if you hear that little story and can multiply that by times 752 on average, then you're ready for a day in the life of reactive attachment disorder. And if that to you sounds like, whoa, I'm not sure that I can deal with that, then proceed with caution. Please hear me. This is not to scare, to terrify, or to cause people to go, that's it, tearing up those adoption papers. It is to make you aware so that you can assess carefully, prayerfully, and with eldership leaders counseling you about whether or not you are prepared for the task of adopting the RAD child. Permit me to share with you, in an endeavor to do that, some of the things that these hurt, broken, and please hear this, when they put their shoe on the wrong feet every single time, it's because inside their thinking is off. It's just been rewired because they have not bonded correctly with the mommy who ever held them, or they were just constantly bopped around from foster house to foster house. This isn't because they're these wicked little things that just, they've got to have chaos. They can't have an attachment with you because that's like going into the danger zone. And so they persist at these behaviors for self-preservation. We will take a short break and come back with 20 ways that the reactive attachment disorder child goes about the business of trying to make the adoptive parent's home a nightmare. Next on Wretched. "20 ways the adopted child exhibits reactive attachment disorder." Welcome back to Wretched. Permit me to share with you now 20 different symptoms of the adopted child's battle with something called reactive attachment disorder. Because of the rewiring, the confusion in their brain, they do a lot of things flip-flop. These are 20 of the potential symptoms of every adopted child. Here we go. This is number 20. Superficially engaging and charming. You're going to say that sounds kind of vague. Ask any parent of an adopted child about their child being superficially charming, and they're going to go, oh, yeah. What does that mean? It means that when you hug them, it doesn't feel right. And then they suddenly turn on the charm to get something that they want, and then they turn it off, and on and off it goes. And it never feels, here's the key word, real. Why? Because it's not. It's superficial. Why? Because if they actually affectionately hug, love, submit to, enjoy, that means they're in the vulnerable place again where one of those big people can abandon them. Symptom number 19 of RAD, lack of eye contact on parents' terms. Adrian would like to redo the scene that we did yesterday, right, Adrian?
No!
Eye contact. The closer you get to somebody, it becomes very intimate. That's what happens with mother and child. With the adopted child who didn't experience that or who had that broken and suffered a very, very big wound, they don't want to get intimate again. Eye contact is, we're rubbing noses in your eye, or with your child. How's about with your, I'm not scaring you, am I one? With your child, what do? You put your nose to the forehead and then you do one eye. That's so intimate. They can't do that. Why? Because it's so intimate. Now imagine new mommy, new daddy, they want to love on the child, and the child won't do it. Eyes will go anywhere. And it's like, come on, I'm just trying to love you here. Imagine their heartache on both sides of the smooch. Symptom number 18, indiscriminately affectionate with strangers. Please try to imagine this. You adopted a child. You've been loving this child. You've been praying for this child. They come into your home and you're loving all over them. You got the nursery all set up. And they do everything they can to get up your nose. Then, when they see a complete stranger, they're just terrific. Or they'll hug a complete stranger, and they're, wow, what a friendly little child you have. What a delight. And you're going, what? That child is this way with me and that way with him. What's the deal? Can you imagine the adoptive parents' feelings when they see the emotionless child, or a child who is really just throwing daggers at them, suddenly loving on a complete stranger? Now, why do they love a complete stranger? Because a complete stranger is safe. You see somebody at church with the adopted child, and that child is so affectionate and so inquisitive, and they're just so nice and sweet. Because you're a stranger. Now, you go into their home and you stay there for a day or 2 or 3, and you're no longer a stranger, and you're going to get the ice too. Why? Because now you are a threat to them. As a stranger, they can be emotionally just kind of pulling your ropes all that they want to, because there's no threat, there's no danger. But if it starts to feel like, uh-oh, this is getting intimate, they won't do it anymore. Symptom number 17, not affectionate on parents' terms. Sure, they'll turn it on for the parents when they want something, but when the parent wants to just be loving or cuddling or tuck them in, they won't get it in return. Symptom number 16, destructive to self, others, and material things. They will hurt themselves, they will cut themselves, they will intentionally fall downstairs, and they will trash somebody's house. They'll break the walls, they'll tear down, make the toys just completely a mess, because they like to wreck stuff, because it feels good to them. Symptom number 15, cruelty to animals. It's not uncommon. Ask somebody with a child with RAD. Go to the internet and read the stories. These are the children who are more inclined to do cruel things to the pets. It is not uncommon for a family to have to get rid of their family dog when the adopted child with RAD enters the home, because this, again, what kind of kids are these? They're rewired kids. They're wounded kids. They're scalded kids. They're scarred kids, and their thinking is really bad. Symptom number 14, lying about the obvious. All right, let's give this one a go, shall we? I know that Adrian would like to ask me the question, what am I wearing?
What are you wearing? Hey, Todd, what are you wearing?
I'm not wearing a vest.
Todd, aren't you have a vest on?
No, I do not have a vest on.
I can see that you have.
Why do you always do this to me? Okay, you get the, okay, it's like crazy lying. It's obvious, and they will not admit it. Why? That's vulnerability. What is vulnerability? It means submission. It means somebody's in authority, and I'm not going to have that if I'm an RAD kid. Symptom number 13, stealing. They take stuff from stores, from you, the other kids, a lot of times from the pantry. Symptom number 12, no impulse controls. This isn't just a kid kind of being out of control, but hey, what's going on? Okay, what, honey, why did you do that? I don't know. Why did you just yell like that? I don't know. And here's the reality. They don't know. You ask them, why did you steal that? Why did you wreck your siblings' toys? I don't know. Why did you stab the cat? I don't know. Is there a reason you burned down the house? I don't know. And you know what they don't know? Because it's very primal, it's very deep, it's very inside of them, and they can't explain it because it's simply the way that their brain has formed. Symptom number 11, lack of conscience. This is very bad, because if you have a child who doesn't ever feel like, well, that's the wrong thing to do, they're going to do it and get into a lot of trouble. And as they get bigger, they do badder things, which can get them in a lot of trouble with the government. Number 10 of the symptoms, abnormal eating patterns. These kids, they're just confused, and they have abnormal eating patterns because eating with a family at a dinner table, that's bonding. That's sweet. So what do? Well, they don't want to eat now, or they need to eat something else. They need a little chaos. They can't have sweet going on. It's got to be just all wonky all over the place. Furthermore, when you feed a child something, what is this? What are you doing? They're reliant on you. So feed a baby with reactive attachment disorder and get ready to catch it in your hands, because they'll throw it up. You say, well, every child spits up. No, they'll throw up 50, 60, 70 times a day as you feed them. Why? It's a control issue. Why? Because they have to be in control. Why? Because somebody big like you burned them before. Are you starting to get a sense of the challenges and the manifestations of the issue called RAD, Reactive Attachment Disorder? If not, I do believe we have 9 more symptoms to go next on Wretched.
You won't say it, but we will. If you have children, you're living in a house with little sinners. The great news is that the Bible has tons of information about dealing with sinful people, even those who share your last name. Drive-by parenting with Dr. Ted Tripp will transform the way you parent and change the tone of your home. Drive-by parenting is available at Wretched.tv. And remember, with every Wretched purchase, you help us proclaim the amazing gospel. Thank you for helping us do that.
And now, another horrific dramatic recreation. Welcome back to Wretched. This is our impersonation of church on Sunday morning. You are you. I am the parent of an adopted child with reactive attachment disorder.
Hey, Todd, how are
Dude, we're in church!
Yeah, that's great.
It's always great at church!
How is the family? How's the kids?
Wonderful! They're amazing, just incredible.
You know what? I was
telling
watching
you.
Wretched TV the other day, and they were talking about something called RAD. Do you deal with RAD symptoms of that?
How did you know? I challenge you. Ask the families in your church who have adopted children some of the challenges that come with reactive attachment disorder. We should not be surprised that this issue exists. Why? Because every adoption, while wonderful, nevertheless, is a story of heartbreak for a baby. There's been some sort of break. There's been some sort of trauma. And these children, no fault of their own. They didn't ask for this. This should not have happened to them. It is not the way that God intended it to happen. But they experienced trauma and hurt and wounding from big people like us. Now, loving Christian parents come along to adopt them, and these poor kids, they just see them as like danger. They are toxic. They're the worst thing that could happen because those are the people who scalded me. Before we get to the other symptoms of reactive attachment disorder to help us all appreciate this issue, if you're an adopted child, I promise you, the parents who adopted you love you like you can't even imagine today. And I also know this, you are in that adoptive home because God wanted you there. He did this in a special way to bring you from where you were to where you are. You can trust your parents because you can trust Him. It's okay. Let me share with you now 9 more symptoms of reactive attachment disorder. This is number 9, poor peer relationships. These children frequently get along well with younger children or with adults. It's their peers that they struggle with. That makes going to school a challenge. Symptom number 8, preoccupation with fire. Now please note, not every child who's been adopted who has RAD exhibits all of these symptoms. But this is one that you hear about regularly. They just like fire. I can't explain it. It is just consistent. Symptom number 7, preoccupation with blood and gore. Violent stuff, the TV shows, the more they watch, the more they like it, and the more that they start to obsess on it. They tend to like this sort of stuff. Symptom number 6, preoccupation with bodily functions. Again, not every child, but I was just reading an internet blog from a brave family who is willing to admit they have adopted children with challenges, and they talked about this issue. She described as the mother how the child never really goes to the bathroom fully, just lets it out in part, and then has a tendency to use it for artwork all over the house. Now, you say, okay, well, just clean it up, get a little ammonia water. 5, 6, 7 times a day? Can you understand the patience and the love that these parents have to have in order to parent a child like that? Symptom of RAD number 5, persistent nonsense questions and chatter. This is going to sound somewhat counterintuitive, but frequently these wounded children, while they don't want your intimate attachment, they still want your attention. And so it is not uncommon, ask somebody perhaps in your church if they experience this, where it's just question asking about everything, nonstop, and over again, the same questions. You say, well, just have some patience, would you? That's great. But you're having to have patience with a child who is not willing to be helped, but would actually like to see you fail, and more than anything, would like to see you, as the adoptive parent, give them up, because they think that's what they deserve. They also think that that would be the best thing for them, because the less that they have to deal with your danger, the happier they are. Now, you wipe that up with ammonia water 7 times today. Symptom number 4, nonstop demanding of attention. Symptom number 3 of RAD, triangulation of adults. Typically, mommy is the target because it was mommy that hurt the child. And so during the day while dad's at work, this child is doing everything to wound mommy. Little payback to that woman who represents the other women who have hurt him. Dad comes home, hi, Dad! And it's a different child. Why? Because it's a division of adults. Why? Because if you can break down the power structure, you can break that, then you can be in charge. Why? Because that's the way you need it, because that's the way you've always had to do it. RAD symptom number 2, false allegations of abuse. Now this makes it a laugh riot. You're loving on the child, patient, cleaning up the artwork, and then you go to church and they tell somebody else that you're abusing them. That adds fun to the mix. And finally, RAD symptom number 1, creating chaos. That is the aim, that is the goal of the wounded RAD child. Please, love on these families. Help these families. Don't judge these families. Jump in there and sacrifice for these families, because it takes a church. Until tomorrow, hang in there, by the way, adoptive parents. Go serve your king.
Thank you for watching Wretched TV. I would like to personally invite you to join the Wretched Club. You'll be joining thousands of wretches whose monthly support helps us pay the bills around here, keep the lights on. You'll get lots of benefits, like our radio and TV archives, but most importantly, you'll help us preach the gospel day in and day out. Please visit wretched.tv, where you can help us proclaim amazing grace.